Hi, this is Andy, and we're going to show you the OpenStack integration with SRX through the Firewall as a Service plugin. Okay, and so we're going to show you the lab setup. We have two Ubuntu server. One is the OpenStack control, one is the OpenStack Nova server, and then we also have two compute nodes that actually works like a hypervisor to create the tenant virtual machines. Now this is connected through a switch, which is the Juniper EX3300, and we will use the SRX240 as the firewall. So the idea is basically with the OpenStack horizontal interface, you can specify firewall policy for the different VMs, and those policy will be established on the SRX, and we will use the SRX to control the traffic flow between the different VMs. Okay, so there is a more detailed look at the platforms. These are running Ubuntu's, and the two computer node basically serves as the hypervisors. And we have two Juniper hardware. One is the EX3300 switch, and the other is the SRX240. Now the 240 is used as both as the router and the firewall in this case. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will show you the log. Well, let's go ahead and log in, right? So this is the OpenStack interface, and we go log in. Now what we have is we log in as administrator, and under the project and network, you can see we already create some virtual machine and different networks. Okay, so there are three networks: 192.168.1 and 192.168.2 and 192.168.3. We also have three virtual machines that is running on these three different networks. Okay, so right now they are not connected, but what we can do is we can bring up the console, right? So I think there's a couple console already set up here. So on this console, you can see that we are running an IP address .1.2, and this is another console on the other virtual machine, which is running on the .2 network. This is running 2.2, okay, the IP address. So for them to talk to each other, we will create a router between the networks. So what we're going to do is we will hit create. Okay, so before we do that, let's take a look at the configuration on the SRX, right? So we are on the SRX terminal. Okay, so for the SRX, basically we have let's do the interface. So we have this interface called GE001, which is has nothing but just enable the VLAN tagging, and this interface is connected to the EX switch, right? So when we create the virtual machine, we will be able to automatically create the VLAN on the SRX on this 001 interface. Okay, so if we go back to the diagram again, this is the interface we are looking at. Right now it has no IP address, just VLAN tagging enable. Okay, and this is connected to the EX platform. All right, so go ahead and create a router. Okay, that's how it's router works. Okay, so you can see this is a new router, and what we're going to do next is we go into this router and add the interfaces. Okay, we will add the .1 subnet first. Okay, and then next we're going to add the .2 subnet as interface. Okay, .2 interface. And you can see that we have two interfaces now, and then we go back to the router. Okay, so this is the router. So now that we have a router that is sitting between these two networks, we should be able to ping each other, right? So in this case, we are on the machine 1.2, we are pinging 2.2, right? So that's okay. And on the machine 2.2, we're going to ping 1.2, and that's okay as well, right? Okay. Okay, so now there is no firewall between these two machines, so they can touch each other. So what we're going to do is we'll add the firewall right now. Now, under the firewall, after you configure firewall as a service plugin with the SLX, you can see there will be a new tab, actually, firewall appear here. And there will be also 3 extra tab, firewall rules, firewall policy, and then firewall. So what we're going to do is first you'll create a rule. Okay, so actually before I do that, let's go to the SLX, right, and see what is added. Okay, now under the interface, right, GE001, now we can see there is 2 logical unit, 1000 VLAN ID 1000 and VLAN 1001. Okay, so these are the 2 subnets with the 2 tenants, right? And at the very bottom, you can see that now we don't have any policy yet, but we will have a new zone. Okay, and right now there's no restriction passing anything between this zone. Okay, so these 2 logical interfaces is included in this zone, and then there is also a routing instances. Okay, you can see this is a new added to the SLX, so allowing the traffic to go through these 2 logical interfaces. So when what we're going to do is we will create a firewall rule. Okay, now say just ICMP. Okay. Okay, so you can see we can do that, and I can specify the source and destination IP and the port, but if I don't do anything, it will just put any. Okay, so right now I'm just allowing any traffic from any direction that can do ping to each other. Okay, now so you can see I successfully add this firewall rule. So the next thing is I will put this rule inside a policy, right? So what we're going to do is we add a policy, and SLX to say allow ICMP policy. Okay. And then you will add this rule. Okay. Okay, so you can see you can add this rule. Allow ICMP. Add it. Okay, so I have a policy called allow ICMP. So after that, what I'm going to do is I will create able to do a firewall. So SLX firewall. Okay, and I will set a policy here. Allow ICMP and add. So now I have a firewall SLX firewall 1. Okay, so basically you can see that we'll go back to the SLX and so look at the configuration, right? Now you can see we have a new policy and source and destination is addressed, and then there's a application defined which is permitted, right? And we actually have the application which is defined as the ICMP protocol at the bottom of the configuration. And if we do a show security policy, you can see that now we have this new policy from zone this long number to this zone number. This is something we new added to this VM, right? Now the interesting thing is the default policy is deny all. So that means that we will allow only the ICMP pass between these two machines, and the default is we will drop everything else. We deny any other traffic besides ICMP. So we're going to test it. So the idea is now we can ping, should be still okay. So we can ping each other. But what I want to do is if I do, for example, SSH, you can see I actually cannot do SSH right to the other box. Okay. Okay. So what we can do is let's say we change the policy to allow TCP traffic. Okay, so we can actually allow SSH to go through. So let's say we go to a firewall rule, and then we create a policy. We create a rule, right? Say allow TCP traffic. Okay, and okay. So we have this in the firewall policy. Allow okay, let's edit the policy. Then we insert one more rule, right? So so allow, and then so this rule we can insert after the ICMP, right? So now you can see that now I have two rules into this policy, and actually I do not need to change anything because it actually has the same policy, right? So now let's go back and we'll see these two. Let's see how the SSH now. Actually I'm okay, right? So allow me to do the SSH to the other box. Okay. So basically that's how we